Friend, we are going to talk about priorities in grammar, or what I am calling is grammar triage. Now, what is triage? Triage is a noun and it is typically from the medical background. And what does triage mean? The meaning of the triage is to determine the urgency or assignment of urgency of wounds or illness, to determine the treatment order of the patients, or we can say casualties, right? If we simplify this definition, then we can say that if we have a lot of problem, then triage is the process to determine the most important problem amongst the large number of problems that requires attention. And if we apply this definition to the grammar problems, then we can say that the process of determining the important grammar problem, the most important grammar problem amongst the large number that requires attention, right? So over here we are going to decide what matters in the grammar and why. What are the topic that matters a lot and why? And then we are going to give the priority order to the topic of the grammar, and you should focus in that priority to learn the grammar problem, right? And it will be helpful for you for each module of the IELTS examination, right? Whether it is a listening, reading, speaking and writing, right? Moreover, if you are doing a business writing, or you are a student and you have to do academic writing, right? Then also you have to focus on the grammar. So in this video you will get what are the priorities of the grammar that are important for the writing skills also, right? So without any further ado, friends, let's get started. First thing in our grammar priority order is correct vocabulary. Correct vocabulary is very important, friends, right? If you don't know a proper synonym, or if you are lack of vocabulary, and even you write a wrong word in your sentence, then you are gonna confuse your reader, right? And it is really not good impression. So you have to be very careful, especially in your IELTS writing, or for your writing skills, you have to choose a correct vocabulary, okay? So this is the first in our priority order, correct vocabulary. You should be take care for your grammar issue is correct verb tenses and sequence of tenses. Of course, in the English language you have few tenses, but you should know how to use it correctly, right? Otherwise you are gonna your readers are gonna get confused about what happened and when it happened. So it is very important to focus on it. Especially it is very difficult if you are coming from a language which don't have a systematically marked verb tenses, right? So it will be very difficult for those. So you should be very careful for this. You should know the past participants, and you should have to do a little extra work on this topic if you are weak in this topic, okay? So the first is correct vocabulary, second is correct verb tenses and sequence of tenses, okay? Subject verb agreement. It is very important for reading and writing. For example, your readers want to know how many, and if you choose the verb which does not matches with how many you have chosen, then it may create a confusion, right? And the sentence is gonna be wrong. So it is very important to focus on the subject verb agreement. And I have already made a video on this topic, and you can find out the link over here in the cue card and in the description box below. Same as for the correct vocabulary topics also, I have already uploaded a video to 8 ways to develop your vocabulary. You will find the link over here in the cue card and in the description box below. So 3 things. For first is correct vocabulary, second is verb tenses and sequence of tenses, and the third is subject verb agreement. For your grammar is plural and singular. Plural versus singular, we can say that, right? And you have to pay a close attention to this topic actually for your speaking and listening, right? In case of a listening, many times the students forget to heard as, right? So plural, sometimes there is a as in word, and there is another word to make it plural, another as, and it is difficult at that time to heard that word, right? So you have to pay a close attention to this in case of your listening module, as well as your speaking module also. You have to be very careful while you are speaking a plural and singular words, okay? Same thing you have to follow for your writing also. You have to give a close attention to this topic also. So it is the fourth most important topic in this order. Okay friends, so these four are the most important in my opinion. The first is correct vocabulary, the second is a correct verb tense and sequence of tenses, and the third is subject verb agreement, and the fourth is plural versus singular. And I have already uploaded the video on all this topic in detail. You can find out the link in the description box below. Okay, but there are still two more topics that are little bit less important than this topic, so we are going to talk about that two topics also in this video. English that matters a little, actually matters a little bit less than the things that I have just pointed out, right? So there are the four topics that I have just pointed out, but there are two more topics that are matters a little bit less than these topics for your writing skills or for your IELTS exam modules, right? So the first thing is that preposition, and the second is article. Now why these things are matters a little bit less? Because the reason is that even you make a little mistake in these topics, then also the native language speaker, English language speaker, can easily understand what you are trying to say. Your examiner can easily understand what you are trying to say, right? Now let's talk about the preposition in detail. Actually preposition, there is not a certain rule to use the preposition, right? There is not a definite rule in English language that when to use the preposition, where to use the preposition, why to use the preposition, and sometimes it does not define that even you need to use the preposition, right? So it is very difficult for the non-native English language speakers to understand the prepositions, right? And even there is not a certain rule, so you don't have to worry about it, right? So we can say that it is little bit less important than other four topics of the grammar, right? And one more thing, that actually prepositions are different in different dialect of the English language. Okay, so we cannot say that there is a certain rule to use the preposition at a place. Article. This is a difficult topic of English to grasp on, especially if you are non-native English speaker and your language, your native language does not have an article. Then it is very difficult for you to grasp on it, right? And technically speaking, we can say that it is not actually a grammar problem. Article does have actually a meaning, right? Or it is a semantic problem. Okay friends, so you don't have to worry about it more, because it is difficult for the we can say a past tense rules or subject verb agreement rules. So and there is not a particular thing that you should follow the article for your grammar issues, right? So we can say that it is also a less important. The most important thing is that you have to create a plan. Create a plan for your grammar improvement. You have to decide in your writing what is your weakness. You have to decide in each module of the IELTS what is your weakness specifically for the grammar, and how you are going to give the priorities to the grammar topics. What is your biggest grammar problem? What is the topic that is very difficult for you? What are the topics that are easy for you, right? So you have to decide in the triage system what topics you are going to give the priority and what topics you are going to start working on it first and most intensely, right? You have to decide all these things. What are the treatment that you are going to give to improve your grammar, right? Are you going to look for more websites to learn your grammar or improve your grammar? Are you going to pull your old grammar books to start with the basic topics like verb tenses, past participles, sequence of tenses, and subject verb agreement? So what is your biggest issue in the grammar that you have? In the end, I want you to remember, friend, that writing your ideas matters most. You can write a brilliant piece of an essay or a story if you have ideas. It's okay with grammar mistakes, because that can be fixed, that can be learned. But if you don't have ideas, your mind is empty or non-existent, then we can say that if you have a really good grip on the grammar topics, but still you cannot make a brilliant piece of an essay. So in my opinion, ideas first, grammar next, and as always, you have fun. This is Rams. You are watching IELTS Guide, and I hope to see you soon, friends. Bye-bye.